Hello, hello. Welcome to What on Earth with Stephanie Campos. I had trouble staying consistent, so I missed the past 2 weeks, but I'm back. I'm here. I'm better than ever. I'm lying. I mean, the world is on fire. I'm not better than ever, but I'm back and I'm happy to be back because I'm really excited about this. And it's kind of like giving me growing pains, like going live on the internet um, is something that I'm not super comfortable with, even though I love being on TV, I love being on camera, but it's still scary, Being perceived can be scary. I think as a Leo, that is like a lifelong lesson and a misconception about us Leos that we just like love to be perceived and we're like always ready to turn it on. Not always the case. So, just a fun fact, it's something for me at least, and I have quite a few planets in Leo. This is something that I am consistently working on throughout my life. So, anywho, thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up live. Thank you for tuning in to the podcast version of this episode or on YouTube. If you have not already, hit the like button, subscribe. You can support my work on Patreon, where I launch 7 episodes of your daily horoscope for the week ahead to help you plan out your life. And I'm also considering launching a new tier. I've been brainstorming. I've been making bullet notes. Mercury is about to go retrograde, so not the best time to launch and announce the new tier. Although I am pretty sure I am going to launch it in the beginning of August when Mercury is retrograde. So stay tuned. But it's going to be great. There's going to be a monthly live meetup component and just more options to interact and interface and do tarot readings, do group energetic cleansings and spells. And I'm feeling really excited about it, but I'm definitely still in the brainstorming phase. So stay tuned. And if you have thoughts, if there's things that you would love to do with me in different ways, work with me in different ways, let me know in the comments. I'm all ears. But for today, we are going to talk about the astrology of the week ahead. Normally, I also have bullet points about important news items. I'm not going to lie. I've spent a lot of this week crying. I've been very disheartened about everything that's going on in the world. That's an understatement. And I've just been stuck and full of grief. And that's okay. It's okay to be in that place. But I didn't really prep for this episode, that being said. So I don't have all of my facts. I don't have links for, call of actions for you to support and take action. Off the top of my head, I would just say, please download the 5Calls app if you have not already. Calling your senators really does make a difference. Just this morning, I saw a video of children and women handcuffed and chained, being arrested by ICE, kidnapped by ICE. It's brutal out there. Israel is corralling Palestinians into a humanitarian zone, which is essentially a concentration camp. We have concentration camps here in America. It's dark times and it's heavy, and the fear and danger for so many people is real. So I just want to acknowledge that. I am going to talk about just the general astrological overview of the week ahead and some energies that you can expect. But again, it is not from a collective perspective. It is from, just in your personal lives, how this energy might show up for you. And if I have enough pep by the end of kind of moving through the transits, I will pull some cards. I have my cards. Yesterday, I went live on YouTube and I did readings for people who showed up. So if you're not already subscribed to my YouTube or Twitch, hello, what are you even doing? I plan to do that like more consistently, and it was super fun. I really enjoyed it, and it's like a skill that I'm honing. So yeah, if you are interested in a free impromptu reading from me, follow me on Twitch and YouTube. Okay, let's get into the astrology of the week. So we're going to start out with Monday, July 14th. Now, it starts out really cute. All of these times, by the way, are Pacific Standard Time because I am based on the West Coast. So around 7 a.m., we have the moon in Pisces forming a trine with Jupiter in Cancer. This is a moment of support. Sometimes, especially if you have like Pisces or Cancer placements, you could wake up to good news. Maybe you're just ready to tackle the day and you're feeling inspired. Great moment for working with your intuition. Also, a great time to feel your feelings. If you haven't been able to access some of your feelings, this is a moment where they can bubble up to the surface. Have the good cry. Um, Take an intentional shower in the morning, like wash off anyone else's energy, any limiting beliefs. You can do a lot of visualization exercises, especially when the moon is in Pisces and Jupiter is in Cancer. That's like bing, like extra divine downloads coming through. So take advantage of that little moment in time. Now, the day is going to wrap up by 9 p.m. with the moon in Pisces forming an opposition with Mars in Virgo. And that's a little spicy. It's a little tense. It definitely can mark a moment of conflict or tension or frustration or feeling overwhelmed, maybe under pressure, like you have to make a decision. Maybe you're at odds with someone else's process, the way that they're doing something, or even someone else's beliefs. We have these two planets coming through on the Virgo Pisces axis. So those themes could definitely pop up for you throughout the day. But in general, like no other major astrological events to look out for. It's just kind of the moon traveling along and bumping into some planets. If you want, again, like detailed astrological overview of every single event that's happening for the day and then your personalized daily horoscope, you can tune into my podcast, Daily Horoscope for Your Zodiac Sign with Stephanie Campos. That's me. I release a new episode every single day, and I drop 7 episodes every Sunday over on my Patreon for anyone who wants to plan out their life. Okay, Tuesday, July 15th. That's my grandpa's birthday. Rest in pieces. He's over here on my ofrenda. But yeah, it's my grandpa's birthday, so a little shout out to him. Again, the morning is starting out cute, okay? So we have the moon in Pisces forming a trine with the sun in Cancer. It's going to give similar vibes to Monday's activities when the moon met with Jupiter. But now we have our inner self, the moon, and the outer self, the sun, are in harmony. So it could feel like you're on track. It could feel like you're making progress. It could feel like things are aligning. Maybe someone responds to the email and you've been waiting on their response in order to schedule something, or maybe you hear back from a friend and you're confirming plans. It just feels like things are moving along at a nice and welcomed pace. The moon is going to move into Aries around 9:30 p.m., and then it will form a sextile with Uranus in Gemini at 10 p.m. Now, this is cute energy. This is the first time that the moon in Aries is meeting with Uranus in Gemini since Uranus moved into the sign of Gemini last week on the 7th. And again, fun fact for anyone who doesn't remember, Uranus hasn't been in the sign of Gemini since the 1940s. It's been a while. Yeah. And for the history buffs out there, yeah, that was World War II. No, not a surprise to anyone. You don't need an astrologer to like point out the similar themes that we are experiencing: fascism, concentration camps, genocides. Yeah. So that is going on. However, I will say when the moon in Aries meets with Uranus in Gemini, it's a more welcomed vibe. It's a cute connection. This personally could leave you feeling inspired or hopeful. It encourages you to take a risk and try something new. It's a great time to come up with ideas, to brainstorm, to read something new, to have conversations that shift your perspective. Since the moon is in Aries, we have a little bit of that like courageous energy within us. And Uranus in Gemini challenges you to think and expand your mind in new ways. Okay. So Wednesday, July 16th, we have kind of a busy day. The moon is in Aries. It's going to start out in the early hours around 1 a.m., forming a conjunction with Saturn in Aries and Neptune in Aries. This could mark a moment if you are on the West Coast where you're struggling to sleep. If you have a baby or a tiny human child or a fur baby that's a little puppy or something like that, maybe they wake you up in the middle of the night. Maybe you're just dealing with insomnia. This could just be a moment where you are feeling way more exhausted than normal. Listening to your body, slowing down is going to be really necessary, and making sure you don't overdo it. So that is if you are awake during this time in whatever time zone you're in, just know that you might reach a limit. You might have to set a boundary. You might feel disappointed. You might be more self-critical. So all of those things can kind of coexist when the moon forms a conjunction with Saturn and Neptune at the same time. Later on in the day, I do have some good news to report. Okay, so the moon in Aries is going to bounce around. It's going to meet with a couple other planets. But what I'm really excited for is at 9:30 p.m., it will form a sextile with Venus in Gemini. Now, if you have listened to my podcast for a while, you will know that anytime the moon meets with Venus, like, I love it. That was supposed to be, if you're watching the video version, like hearts coming out of my eyes. That's what I was thinking over here, anyways, visualizing. I love when the moon meets with Venus. Venus is a relational planet. It has to do with our values as well. And it has to do with our passions and our hobbies and just like our pleasure and what we enjoy. So this is a great time for connection. It's a great time for going on a date. If you need to have an important conversation and you've been like nervous about it, or if you want to tell someone that you love them, or if you need to have even a difficult conversation with someone, this could be a good time to do it because people are really open-hearted, open-minded, and more receptive. It could also be a moment where you are just doing something fun. Maybe you are focusing on a passion project or a hobby. You can also gain more attention and recognition, especially if you have Aries or Gemini placements. So this could be a really cute time to send out a newsletter to your mailing list. It could be a great time to make a fun announcement on social media or post a sexy selfie. To text a crush, to apply for a job, leading up to 9:30 p.m. So you don't want to do it at 9:30 p.m. or after 9:30 p.m., but anytime before, I would say between 1 p.m., 9:30 p.m., cute time in the sky to take advantage of, especially this week. And you're really going to want to take advantage of that window because the next day, Thursday, July 17th, drum roll please, it's everybody's favorite, Mercury retrograde in the sign of Leo. And Mercury is going retrograde at 15 degrees. Okay. So if you have any planets or placements around 15 degrees of Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius, I'm talking to you. You're the main characters. And you're going to feel the intensity of the station the most intensely. So normally we do feel Mercury retrogrades kind of throughout the duration of the transit versus like when Pluto goes retrograde or if Neptune goes retrograde, we really only feel that energy the day of the station and the day that it stations direct. But because Mercury is closer to Earth, we kind of feel its, uncomfortable movement or the challenges a little bit more intensely here. because of its proximity to us here on Earth. So Mercury retrograde. I just want to say it gets a really bad rap in pop culture and all the memes and all of the don't do this and the do's and the don'ts. And, I'm just going to say that all of the like important jobs that I've taken, or like a lot of jobs that I have had for a long period of time, I've actually taken during Mercury retrogrades. So this is not a time where you absolutely can't sign a contract, or you I just wouldn't listen to that like the do's and the don'ts, right? Like, you're human, you still have to live, you have to make important decisions with your life. It's just a period of time where we are slowing down. We are supposed to be more reflective. There's a reason that the past is coming up. There's a reason that you're drawn to old projects or interests that put aside for whatever reason. The universe is offering us a moment of introspection and redirection, ultimately, so we can move forward in a more aligned way. Because if you just keep charging forward, charging forward, charging forward, you are going to burn out. And if you're making decisions from a place of burnout, you're probably not making the most wise decisions. You know what I mean? So, welcome this time for rest, for recharging, for knowing that, yeah, things aren't moving at like a neck breaking speed, but that's kind of okay. And our bodies need rest and they need to recharge. And spending time slowing down, spending time alone, in reflection, journaling, it's all going to be helpful for coming up with the best path forward and the plan forward for you. Now, in general, when Mercury is retrograde in the sign of Leo, it could be a time where you're returning to old hobbies that you used to enjoy, a great time for inner child and inner teen healing. Get in the habit of asking yourself, what would my inner teen be proud of this? What used to light them up? Or what was something when you were a teenager, you were like, I wish I could dress like this, or I wish I could do this, but I'm like too insecure. I don't deserve this, or whatever. That was something like I wanted to be like a punk rock chick. And don't get me wrong, I skateboarded, I had a studded belt. But I was not a punk rock chick. I was totally a nerd. I was like in all of the AP classes and was very anxious, and I was a rule follower, and never went to a high school party, never drank, never smoked in high school. Um, but really just wanted to be this rebel. So, anywho, now that I'm adult, I got my tattoos. I still have a studded belt. I smoke pot sometimes. I don't know, I like to have fun. But turn to your inner teen or your inner child for guidance. That's a really great thing to do while Mercury is retrograde in Leo. Also, a great time to work on your confidence. If you've been feeling less than, or, scared to take up space or insecure about something, this is going to be an important time to kind of work with your confidence again. I would also say when Mercury is retrograde in Leo, it's really, really easy to take everything personally, to just assume like, oh my God, that was about me. Oh my God, that like tiny comment that my coworker said, that was about me. It probably wasn't about you, but Mercury's in the sign of Leo. So we're taking things personally. Okay. So anywho, just some food for thought. On the same day, on Thursday, July 17th, we are having our last quarter moon in the sign of Aries. This is taking place at 25 degrees. The last quarter moon is a period of release and letting go. So we are pruning, we are reflecting on the lessons that we have learned, how we have grown, what we can change. We are integrating some of the lessons and the wisdoms. And it's especially going to bring you back to the full moon in Capricorn that took place on July 10th. So whatever aha moments you had, whatever decisions you made around that time, it's going to bring you back to that full moon. And this is a moment of making a shift, surrendering, letting go of any expectations, or it can just kind of help you trust in divine timing. And if there is anything that you're putting pressure on yourself to achieve, especially because it's bringing us back to that full moon in Capricorn, this is the moment to just let go, chill, okay? However you can. Easier said than done. I'm aware. Virgo moon, I get it. Okay, Friday, July 18th. What's happening? What's cute? Okay, the moon is going to be in Taurus. We love that. That's happening around 1 a.m. It's going to form a square with Pluto in Aquarius at 5:30 a.m. Yeah, that can bring up feelings of intensity, jealousy, envy, power struggles, control. It can have us fixated on the past or the future. Very hard to sit in the present, especially with our feelings in the present moment, because they probably are some of our shadow sides, some of our fears, our insecurities. But this planetary connection happens like twice a month, and it's not going to make or break your life, to be honest. You're going to be just fine. But be conscious of your feelings. And I would say sitting with whatever feels uncomfortable, moving towards whatever scares you can be incredibly healing and cathartic. Okay. I'm a child of Pluto. That's my advice. My best advice of how to work with Pluto and his divine energy, or their divine energy. Now, something else that is super cute happening today, we have Venus in Gemini forming a sextile with Mercury retrograde in Leo. That's taking place around 6:30 a.m., but we're going to feel that energy for the majority of the day. This is definitely like an ex vibe, okay? If you're like, oh my God, is my ex going to contact me? They might on Friday, July 18th. Or you could have a dream about an ex. It could be an old friend from the past. It could be an old coworker. It could be someone you had a falling out with. But because Venus, the relationship planet, is meeting up with Mercury, communication, retrograde, the past, it's just likely that you hear from someone from your past, you run into someone from your past, or, burp, or you are reflecting on your past relationship dynamics, experiences, and kind of reflecting on how they inform who you are now and how you show up in your relationships now. So I would just keep that in mind, that this is definitely like a retrograde kind of day. But when Venus and Mercury come together, it's beautiful. It's a wonderful time for feeling seen, for feeling heard, for having productive conversations. If there is some sort of conversation that got sidelined or sidetracked, or if you had a creative idea, when I say creative, it doesn't have to be like you're with a paintbrush, Picassoing or doing anything like that. It could be anything that you enjoy. I don't know what you enjoy. Maybe you enjoy ants. Maybe you enjoy watching clouds move in the sky. I don't know, but to me, that's creative. Whatever lights you up, okay? So this could be a time where you are returning to some old passion project and coming up with new ideas to bring that vision to life. But in general, this is a period of feeling supported and even hopeful from whatever conversations and interactions you have with other people. Now, the other fun fact for that day is that the moon in Taurus is going to form a sextile with Jupiter in Cancer around 4 p.m. So in the backdrop of the day, we already have this cute transit. And then in the backdrop of the day, we have this cute energy as well. Because when the moon and Jupiter come together, that also is essentially very similar. Another layer of feeling supported, of feeling seen, of standing up for your beliefs and values, of feeling embodied, having a nourishing meal, wrapped up in a cozy blanket. You know what I'm saying? So I would say, even though Friday has retrograde vibes, the energy is pretty cute. Okay, Saturday, July 19th. Hmm. Hmm. Let me see. Oh, okay. The sun in Cancer is going to form a square with Chiron in Aries. That's taking place at 27 degrees. So if you have any planets or placements around 27 degrees, in particular, Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn, you're the main event. Okay, the sun is your ego, your identity. Chiron's the wounded healer, represents some of our deepest pain that we carry with us throughout our entire lives. Also, I'm just going to put a pin in this for a second. It says 7 of you are here. Hi. Send me a comment. I don't know. If you want me to pull a tarot card for you, write a word. You don't have to tell me your life story, but write a word and I'll pull a card for you at the end of this. Okay. So yeah, Sun square Chiron. I would just say this could be a moment where you feel triggered. You feel raw or vulnerable. Like that dream where you're naked standing in front of the class, it kind of gives that energy. Do you know what I'm saying? Like you might feel disappointed in yourself. Maybe there is some wounding from your past that you thought you had healed or moved on from, but it's resurfacing and inviting you to do some more work. Sometimes this is a moment where you are taking a stand on your healing journey and you're making a decision. You are doing healing work. You are engaging. You are confronting your wounds. Um, but there just could be something that makes you feel a little bit more sensitive and even possibly insecure on this day. So I would just keep that in mind. However, the moon in Taurus will form a sextile with the sun in Cancer. That's super cute. Okay, that's in the backdrop of the day. So, despite this sensitivity that comes up for you, there is support available to you. And it could mean like, yeah, maybe you have a good cry. Maybe you have an important epiphany or realization about yourself, about the work that you still have to do. We are all works in progress. We all make mistakes. Perfectionism is invented by white supremacy and capitalism and all the things. It doesn't exist. Nobody's perfect, okay? We're always making mistakes. So that's fine. But just know that, yeah, maybe you're feeling a little sensitive earlier in the day, but you meet up with a friend and have a good cry or have a good laugh, or you have a deep conversation with someone else who kind of reminds you that, like, it's okay. You're self aware. You're willing to change. You're willing to work on it. So, this is kind of a promise that you're not going to beat yourself up. Okay. Like, yes, we can be disappointed in ourselves, but we're going to move on from it. We're going to pull it together. Okay. Um, should I do Sunday, July 20th? Sure. Let's talk about it. Cause I'm going to start doing these on Sundays. I disappeared for 2 weeks, used to be on Monday, but I'm going to start doing them on Sundays. The plan is Sunday at 5 p.m. ish, right? I have a tiny tot, unpredictable. She's absolutely unpredictable. 15 months old. I don't know if she's going to be screaming or shitting her pants or what, but my plan is to try to get here around 5 p.m. on Sundays. Okay, so I'll just talk about next Sunday because we're not going to talk about it because it'll already happen by then. So next Sunday, July 20th, the moon will be in Gemini for the majority of the day. And the cutest thing that's happening, okay, moon in Gemini will form a trine with Pluto in Aquarius around 8 p.m. And that's great. That is great for adding a layer of depth to your interactions, for deep and meaningful conversations, for your own self-awareness and healing and empowerment. It's great for investigative work, diving deep on a specific topic, and changing your mind, changing your habits, embracing change with more ease and less resistance. So that energy is cute. However, I will also say, around 7 p.m., Mars in Virgo is going to form a conjunction with the South Node in Virgo at 19 degrees. If you have planets or placements around 19 degrees of Virgo, Pisces, Gemini, or Sagittarius, this one is for you. When a planet meets with the South Node, it is a point of release. Typically, there is decrease, there is loss. So you're going to want to pay attention also to what area of your birth chart does Virgo occupy, because there can be some sort of shift or loss or change that's going on in that area of your life. Not for everyone. A lot of the times when planets meet with the South Node or the North Node, you really have to have a planet or a point near that degree point to feel it. Collectively, this could be something big. My astrology teacher, Sam Reynolds, who, if you are interested in learning astrology, you got to study with Sam. He's the absolute best. He absolutely changed my relationship with astrology, and I really have him to thank for where I am today and how I've developed and honed my astrological skills. But he made a video recently talking about how when Mars met with the South Node, and when Jupiter was in Cancer, the last time when both of these transits happened was 9/11. Now, I'm not saying that that is what's going to happen at all. I'm not fear-mongering. But I'm just saying, astrology rhymes. It doesn't repeat exactly. We are in a period of polycrisis all around the world. There are so many people who are losing their lives because of these oppressive and unjust systems, because of empire and colonialism. I don't know what's going to happen, but I would just say pay attention to the news that day and lead with compassion and empathy, because you never know what anyone is going through. And that's my advice for every day, really, to lead with compassion and empathy. Oh, Audrey, thank you for being here. Do you want me to pull a card for you? If you're still here, I'd be happy to pull a card for you. All right. Well, I'll just do a general poll because I don't see anybody's. Nobody has requested a specific. Audrey. Okay, I'm gonna pull a card for you. Okay. Thanks. I'll just do like a general vibe card. And for anyone who's like listening to this later in the podcast version, something that I have noticed, because I love listening to like mediumship readings and other, psychic readings and tarot readings, I feel like there's always some message that is universal and can be applicable to your life. So maybe you will receive a message if you are, that needed to get to you if you are listening to this later on. Okay, Audrey, before I pull your card, I just want to say something really quickly. I have reopened my books for birth chart readings. I've been closed. I've had my books closed for over 2 years. So I'm now seeing clients again for one-on-one birth chart readings. And I'm also doing practice mediumship readings. So I've done one so far. It's on my YouTube and my podcast if you want to listen. And I'm loving it. Patrons always get first access to book with me. I am opening my books again on July 15th. I always announce first on Patreon. Last month, readings sold out within 24 hours. Not to brag, but I'm proud of myself. But I'd love to read with you and work with you. And if you feel called, join me over on Patreon. Okay, Audrey, your card. What is going on in your life, Audrey? We have the Wheel of Fortune. Okay, anytime the Wheel of Fortune comes up, it is like, it can be cute chaos, but it can be chaos. Like major changes are unfolding in your life. You could meet someone that feels karmic or fated. You could quit a job on a whim. You could feel like your life path and your life direction is just either falling into place or falling apart. So it would really depend. But if you feel like it is the latter and things are falling apart, oftentimes the universe is always conspiring for our best interests. So it could be a period of redirection. Sometimes the no's that we receive are protection. Sometimes they are redirecting us to an even better opportunity. I'm going to pull one more card with this. Oh, are you like finding balance in your work life? Are you also a parent of a fur baby or a human baby or a plant mama? I don't know, but there is um, some element of finding balance and doing it all yourself and having the ability and the wherewithal to support yourself financially, to be a boss bitch, to be a nurturing loved one to anyone you care for, to have the financial security and stability, to have the creativity, the abundance that you seek. Uh, it could be coming quicker than you think. So, I don't know. I hope that resonates. I hope that helps. And Miriam, hi. Hi, nice to see you too. And yeah, that is our episode for today. I appreciate all of you tuning in. Oh, good. Oh, good. Audrey says it does resonate. Hearts back to you. And thank you for being here. Thank you, Audrey, for letting me read for you. And I'll see you next Sunday around 5-ish. Okay. Bye-bye.